Croatian town of Vukovar. At least 15 people are reported killed in the town after 4 successive days of clashes between Croatian forces and Serbian militias backed by federal troops. From there, Jeremy Thompson reports.
Along tracks through maize fields, we sneaked into the beleaguered town of Vukovar. Croatian militia who rode shotgun warned us that Federal Army tanks close by had cut off every other route in. As we entered Vukovar through a series of checkpoints, the guns were silent for once. But 5 days of vicious fighting had left its mark on this strategic border town, now almost deserted by local civilians. The bombardment by Serbian mortars and federal artillery had destroyed dozens of buildings, though opposing claims of the extent of damage and death were impossible to verify. Inside this car hit by a mortar, the charred remains of 3 people. But truth has also perished in this conflict of violence and propaganda. Both sides claim they're winning.
All the evidence about confirms a massive firefight here in Vukovar over the last few days. But surprisingly, the Croatians still seem to be in control of a large part of the town. And despite the lack of weapons they have against the army, they do seem to be containing the offensive.
From the windows of their shattered home, these Croats shouted that the Serbians would never get them out. Boys of 16 and 17 had now joined up to defend their Croatian homeland, and they're preparing for all-out war. Our escort, the self-proclaimed Captain Hawk, said Croatia was now defending Europe's last front line against communism. After the events in the Soviet Union, the Serbs were the only real communists left.
They are fighting on dirty, dirty war. Communism against the Western Europe. Let's say it this way.
Unless Europe supports their independence, the Croatians say they are left with only rifles and homemade grenades to defend themselves against the might of the Yugoslav army. Yet every generation is now ingrained with the culture of war and the determination to survive. It's a fear that brought thousands of women onto the streets of Croatia today in an orchestrated call for peace. Many of them mothers demanding that their conscript sons be released from the Federal Army. The peace movement is gathering momentum. But so too are the preparations for war. Jeremy Thompson, News at 10, Vukovar.